doing this morning?
Except for the part that Malik is doing paper audit with me this morning, I am very fine.
What's
I
a
just
paper
asked about
audit
the
in the
whereabouts
first
of a
place?
particular newspaper, and he's making a case out of it,
Leave
leveling
them on
charges.
the Aqua, who knows what a paper audit? Anyway, let's go into the front page, shall we?
Let's start with the Daily Guide newspaper. NDC exposed in NHIA investment. NDC leaked tape. Mahama storms called for Ofosu Ampofu. Dangote praises Akufo-Addo's leadership. Exonerated Anas Boy murder suspect released, and Fisheries Ministry saves 36 million from premix fuel.
The NHIS story and that of the Fisheries Ministry are on the front page of the Ghanaian Observer. The rest I will prove charges against Ofosu Ampofu. This is a Deputy Attorney General Joseph Dinjok Penka speaking. There's one also from Abbas Zakaria, who, according to the Observer, is going to contest the NPP's Tamale Central primaries.
The New Crusading Guide newspaper. National security operatives on rampage demolish flattened companies' properties. Kenelo Poku stands accused, that's according to the New Crusading Guide newspaper. Government policies yielding results, that's Opari Ansa. MCE rescues boy from his deranged mother. And MMDA's 13 million Ghana cedi debt cause of NITA's non-performance. That's Communications Minister Esla Owusu Ekufu.
The Finder is reporting this morning SAC orders Gold Coast Fund to cease taking new investments, GRA to introduce payment of tax via mobile money, and the premix story is also on the front page of the Finder.
The Daily Statesman newspaper. Let's empower our own, says NDC Seidu Agongo. Mahama endorses NDC assault plan, storms court to support Ofosu Ampofu over explosive tape. Secure Ghana's benefit. That's President telling new regional ministers. Those are the stories here.
Now, the Herald is reporting this morning SNIT adopts new strategies to sustain scheme, and the government gives away new Kotoka airport to Turkish, and we know that the minister in that department, that's Aviation Minister Kofi Ada, says, well, that decision has not been taken anywhere, and he's not put forward any such memorandum. But government puts NDC chiefs before commercial court. Is on the front page of the Herald too. The last one, Hobson Adoye's wife gets national security escort. That's on the front page of the Herald too.
The Chronicle newspaper. NDC is being mischievous with NHIS figures. That's government. Ghana Germany ties get huge boost. A city of Merna Echuma enter development partnership. Degree holders dominate basic schools, but results still poor. That's according to MCE. And Mahama Lisa Ofosu Ampofu in court is also on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper.
The Daily Graphic is reporting this morning demand for new districts waits for the EC. The president is asking traditional authorities, and there's a very big insight about the destination being Kwahu this Easter, and everything you need to know about Kwahu, and the fact that a huge number of people will be eating from the same, earthenware pot.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Does the paper add the chant? Go, go.
No.
Well, that quote story, you may say it's on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper as well. The police are deploying 14,000 personnel to ensure public safety during Easter. Raymond says, no, Easter is virtually cool. So we should say the police are deploying 14,000 to cool, not Easter. But that's on the page 17 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. President swears in Bono Oti regional ministers. First Lady unveils new FDA logo. Ofosu Ampofu is also on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Back page of the Ghanaian Times. Members of ECOWAS Committee on Infrastructure brainstorm in Accra, and Busy Internet installs free internet in 4 divisional police headquarters. These are the stories here. Let's start with, you have another paper?
Yes, before you start, the Go Street has a couple of stories that you should be interested in. The CBG, Consolidated Bank Ghana, is going to get some 4.4 billion in new liquidity. We all know that they got some 450 million after the plan to make sure that sector is sanitized. There's one about PDS and government moving to resolve power sector financial stress, and financial problems have been confirmed as a major reason behind recent outages. That's what's being reported by the Go Street Business. Of course, there's assurance on aviation fuel. There's also 500,000 investment opportunity for every young person looking for money to set up something big.
I want to really hear about that PDS story, but yes. Malik, let's go to court.
Yes, so yesterday, the national chairman of the opposition National Democratic Congress and a deputy communications director of their party, Kweku Boahen and Samuel Ofosu Ampofu, appeared in court because the Attorney General brought this case against them, citing them for conspiracy to commit harm and to assault public officers. And will you tell Elvis Kwashi to leave the studio so that I can do my review in peace
without intimidation?
You let's hear about Samuel Ofosu Ampofu and
so the two of them were in court. The Attorney General brought this case against them, and according to the Attorney General, depending or given a leaked tape which emerged, which we dealt with on this show, the two of them were conspiring to commit crimes. And we remember the tape that we played on the morning show, a voice resembling that of the national chairman of the NDC, Mr. Samuel Ofosu Ampofu, made certain comments about taking the Electoral Commission chairperson to the cleaners, endorsement of insults on the chairman of the National Peace Council, amongst other things, deliberately causing problems with the police. All of these things, according to the Attorney General, constitute attempts to create problems within the Republic, and therefore the two of them were brought before court. Of course, they were granted bail, 100,000 Ghana cedi bail with one surety each of them. Lawyers for the two of them argued that the state has no case at all, and Edigi Tamaklo, who is lawyer for Kweku Boahen, the Deputy Communications Director of the NDC, said that he didn't think, in fact, in his view, the Attorney General was engaged in what he called foot soldierism, and that this was not a case that warranted the Attorney General herself coming to court to bring this kind of case. The General Secretary of the NDC was of the view that this is intimidation and that the president is failing in delivering on the lofty promises that he has made to the Ghanaian people, and that he's simply seeking to hide under his failure by bringing this case or intimidating his opponents. They go back to court on May 6th when the trial continues, but for the time being, they are on bail.
I know these two cases are different, but I can't help but look at how interesting the situation is. Remember when Hajia Fati told us on this show that she slapped Ohima Seshua?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then what she said on this show was not used in a court. Kweku Boahen also said on radio that's what Mr. Ofosu Ampofu said is true.
Yes, which is one of the cases that they are bringing against him. In fact, if
what people say on radio is true, why didn't we use it against Hajia Fati?
His case is simply conspiracy to commit harm. And that is because after the tape emerged, he granted an interview on our sister station, Asempa FM, on which he said that, yes, the comments contained there were made by Ofosu Ampofu, and that this was at a meeting of the communicators of the NDC, and that the NDC supported the arguments raised, and that anybody who had any problems with the comments made by the national chairman should go and bend the sea. This is the tape that the Attorney General is
the radio
Joseph Kwenka believes that they have sufficient proof to back this case. The lawyers for the defendants say, well, we will see.
Okay, Raymond, when will we have light?
Yes, of course. I mean, the government of the Republic of Ghana, together with the PDS, the new guys who are actually managing the end of getting light to your homes at every point in time and taking money from you, are saying that the challenges will soon be over. According to sources close to the Ghost Street business, as has been reported today, one of the most important reasons why we went for PDS was to improve the collection of the monies that you owe ECG and how they get to deploy power to the homes of people. That, according to the paper, has not been done as well as they wanted it to be in this particular case. More importantly, the financial challenges that beset the operations of PDS when they started working were supposed to have been resolved before they started work. That is the main complaint of the newspaper in this particular case. It says there are some key stakeholders in PDS and in government who are not excited by the recent happenings. The reference is being made to Monday, April 15, where, according to the paper, most parts of the capital experienced unannounced, specifically intermittent, disco-like outages lasting more than 2 hours, making people worried about what's really happening, especially when some weeks ago a similar incident happened and we're promised that the coast is clear and nothing of such was going to happen again. You do recall that the 12-day given, that from the 12th there was not going to be any such interruptions. Of course, we have to also distinguish between the fact that sometimes government explains some to be outages that are intermittent, that are not planned, that quickly ought to be resolved, compared to the ones that come from shortfalls in generation, which government says it has largely resolved. Now, this paper is saying that, contrary to what you are being told, there's still a big money problem. You know, this allegation came first from the minority. Mutawakilu made the point that we are pretending we don't know that the state-owned enterprises, the VRAs, the GRICOs, the PDS, and the NEDCOs are still having serious financial challenges, which, when not resolved, will compound the current problem. Indeed, they are also saying in this newspaper that what looks like the case is that government is now going to push hard, try and resolve the financial problems. If it gets to resolve the financial problems, then we'll leave the inefficiencies arising out of other things happening within the same companies to the various companies in this case.
Does the paper give a deadline for the resolution of these challenges?
No, he says that there was a meeting on Tuesday, and this meeting maybe actually had some conclusions on what was going to happen very, very soon.
Okay, so we don't have a specific time.
Yes.
Okay. Malik, the next story you're going to deal with is something I'm very passionate about. Degree holders in basic schools who don't produce results, if I can use that quickly.
Absolutely. So this is according to the Nkwanta South Municipal Chief Executive, Mr. John Tessan. Mr. John Tessan's worry is that in his area, and this is Nkwanta South, is in the newly created Otu region, carved out of the Volta region. Now, his concern is that the larger majority of teachers in this area are either diploma holders or degree holders. And yet, the performance or educational outcomes in this area has been largely abysmal. In fact, he says in some schools, the performance is zero at BEC level. He does not understand why this is the case. He said when he was in middle school at the time, the larger majority of teachers in the area were largely people teachers, and yet the outcomes were better than they are today. In fact, his confusion is compounded by the fact that the private schools located in this area, the teachers there are largely people teachers, and the outcomes in these private schools are better than the public schools where the teachers are degree holders and diploma holders. So he cannot understand why this is the case. He believes that, and let me quote something he said, "I cannot understand the situation where in almost all public schools from basic to secondary, they have first degree and master's holders, but the standard of education continues to fall." This is his confusion. So what is the problem? He says, if we don't strategize today, and he was saying this at a meeting of all the stakeholders in education in this area, he said, if they don't find a solution to the problem, nobody will leave the building at this meeting. Now, the Nkwanta South Municipal Director of Education, Mr. Stephen K. Chatofe, said that the MCE has every right to complain because BEC improved in 2017 from 21.9% to 38%, but he said that is even not enough. And 38% was actually the best that they have done, from 21.9 to 38%. But he says that itself is not enough, and therefore the DC's concerns must be listened to. The stakeholders must find a solution to this worrying trend.
And it's a national challenge, isn't it? Because if the early grade assessment organized by the GES shows that 98% of public basic school students can't recognize a four-letter word, and we know that a number of these teachers have been to school and have, through their continuous improvement opportunities in the GES, gotten degrees. You compare it to private schools where SHS leavers train students.
They end up passing and they are way better than, because I mean,
that's why education experts usually say it is about supervision, empowering the head teachers, and making sure that when we demand a change in curriculum, for instance, it is implemented to a T.
Around the teacher. Because if the teacher is not imparting the knowledge, how are you going to get people acquiring it in the first place?
Let's go to the fishermen.
Yes, and let's stay with energy because Premier Fuel is back in the news. The ministry yesterday did a press conference seeking to respond to some of the claims that have been made about. You do recall that recently some farmers, fish farmers specifically, were complaining, and fisher folk were complaining about, especially what the main problem on the ground is. They say that one, the premium fuel has changed color, it's more expensive now, it's not available as it used to be, and the committees are more corrupt than they've been in times past. The ministry has been dealing with this matter. First and foremost, it says the new structures have made sure that we have saved 36 million. One, this is arising out of the fact that we'll be able to reduce landing sites from what used to be the 475 to 286 now. We've also been able to get some accumulated 7 million Ghana cedis from what is known as the Landing Beach Committee's Development Fund. So the monies are now being put in the right direction. And contrary to the claim by these farmers, the amount of money required, yes, of course, the amount of money required in this case have actually been saved. Now, secondly, he's also talking about the impact of various institutions that have done a lot of work in this area. She said that what they have done is to improve the systems in all the fronts. So contrary to claims that the system is not working, they are improving every single thing that the farmers talk about. In fact, she's not discounting all that they are saying. So they'll meet them. They will review the committees if there is a need to do that, and also make sure that they come up with better policies to improve the lives of these people in that particular area.
So we are saving 36 million.
Yes.
The GRA is also introducing payment of tax via mobile money, which would make us some more money.
Yes, that's an interesting innovation in this particular case. They're saying that to make it more comfortable for you to, I don't know if it's, many people don't even know where their nearest, what they call small taxpayer office is supposed to be. Because having to file taxes, go through the process is difficult for them. And one of the reasons they always cite is the cumbersome process you have to go through.
The complicated nature of it.
Yes, filling different forms and all of that. But this time around, it's been made a bit more simpler than supposed to be. One, you are going to get a text message if you are on the list of the people who are supposed to be paying tax. Then you file your taxes nicely and pay quickly. You get receipts through the same mode. It's not as if you are going to let them fill up with receipts. You get receipts through the same mode. And finally, you don't have to move anywhere to even verify it. Nobody will come to you.
iTaps.
Very good. So you can actually finish it up in that particular sense. Connected to this particular issue is the fact that this will help us improve our ease of doing business, because taxes, its regime, its rationalization, and how people are complain about whether or not they are getting the right amount of space to do the right taxing policies in this country. It's also why we need to improve the system.
So ultimately, Malik, this will work for Ghana's benefit.
Absolutely. This is what the president is telling newly appointed or newly sworn in regional ministers of 2 of the 6 new regions that have been created, and these are Oti and the Bono regions. So the regional minister for Oti is Kwame Owusu-Yeboah. He was sworn in. Also sworn in by the president is Evelyn Amakusi Richardson, regional minister for Bono. The president, when he swore these 2 in as regional ministers, said, and I quote, "You have a great deal of work to do to establish the foundation for strong regional administration. The whole purpose of this is to bring government closer to the people, and therefore your availability, your accessibility is going to be important, to be an important part of your success." This is what the president is saying. Except that usually when you look at our history, the creation of regions and districts and all of that don't really help devolution and decentralization, because central government retains a lot of power at the central level, and sometimes even contracts are entered into on behalf of assemblies and
by
regions.
The ministry is supposed to devolve the power the
Absolutely,
local government
by
ministry.
local government ministry. So so whilst government is determined to bring governance closer to the people, decentralization and devolution must be real and tangible. It is the only way the people can feel the benefits. Putting political officers in place in and of itself may not bring governance closer to the people.
So Raymond, one of our guests for today, Reverend Alogba Mitete, has been making some moves recently.
Yes, of course. I mean, the Securities and Exchange Commission has been telling the Gold Coast Fund management team that put on hold new, money's coming into your system. Let's review the system and see whether you've done anything wrong. Then we can deal with you accordingly. Now, the Gold Coast Fund management has welcomed the directive from the grouping, saying that this will help them find a lasting solution to the liquidity crisis that they are facing currently. In fact, they are also 70 million to the customers that demanded their cash immediately, but they still have some challenges they admit, which they are weathering, and they hope that they'll be able to fix with the kind of help or engagement they're going to have with the SEC. That detail I'm sure we can have later on.
Of course, when he joins us, sending your questions for Reverend Daniel Alogba Mitete, the Director General of the SEC, to 0244 340 437. Malik, before we go online, go.
Yes, so the police are deploying 14,000 personnel, and this is announced by Mr. Alex Mensah, the Director General of Police Operations. He disclosed this 14,000 men will be deployed to ensure that the roads are safe. You know that historically during Easter and Christmas, the accident rates go up, criminal activity go up. these 14,000 men are intended to ensure that these things do not happen. They will manage traffic on the roads, ensure that accidents do not happen, reckless driving, on overspeeding, dangerous driving, driving without consideration. All of these are kept to ensure that life and property are safe during the period.
Please, let's enjoy the Easter, but let's be safe whilst you're doing so. The online news review comes up now. It's brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and GOIL Good Energy. Make your day productive by relying on quality fuel from GOIL, your 3-time CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year. GOIL Super XP and Diesel XP are additivated to enhance strong engine performance and prolong the lifespan of your vehicle. Above all, you're guaranteed extra quality with a fuel analyzer from our mobile laboratory van. Get your money's worth every day by buying fuel and lubricants from any of GOIL's over 360 service stations nationwide and experience good energy. Buy GOIL, grow Ghana. GOIL, good energy. GOIL, Yanara Yedia. Now go light with Zenith Bank. Be that person who makes payments anytime and anywhere without the need to carry cash, or that person who lives light because you use the Zenith mobile app to pay bills, top up airtime, effect instant transfers, top up investments, and so much more. Avoid delays and keep afloat with the simple things in life. Simply sign up for Zenith Bank's electronic banking solutions today and live light. Go light with Zenith Bank. It's faster and smarter. Zenith Bank in your best interest. Just fix the road. Family of military couple that died in floods urge government. And we have visited the families of the couple that died, unfortunately, in that accident on Sunday. And so I'm reading the Mike Joy Online headline. Expect more of that today on the show. Enima has also been speaking with some residents of the Odo area who are scared whenever clouds gather. You can't imagine that. Undocumented Ghanaians living abroad cannot stall ROPA implementation. The EC is being told by Samson Ladi Ayenini, a private legal practitioner who is also representing some Ghanaians living abroad who are suing for the immediate implementation of the Representation of People's Amendment Act ROPA. AdomOnline.com has a story that we're going to be dealing with today. Gold Coast funds locked up in government contracts, according to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Again, if you have any questions at all about Gold Coast Fund Management, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the work that they've done in the past, send them in 0244 340 437. Director General Reverend Daniel Bami Tete will be joining us this morning. 1,412 affordable houses abandoned. Government to terminate deal. That's also on AdomOnline.com. AFCON 2019, Nilante warns Ghana against complacency. Okay, former sports minister speaking there. The BBC.com is talking about how Facebook is being used to profile and kill Kenyan gangsters. And measles cases quadrupled globally in 2019, says the UN. We're going to take these important messages. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This was Kwame's life before Interplus.